A 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Michelle Smallman here for the Capital One Venture X card. If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, you can earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn all of your purchases into extraordinary travel. And you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book through Capital One Travel. Plus, you'll get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's in its honor. She's on the honor roll. She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way. No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
It's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. Tired of that washer walking out the door and having to dry a load 2 or 3 times? It's time for a new washer and dryer. Pick from brands like Maytag, GE, Whirlpool, Electrolux, and of course, Speed Queen. Try the new 2-in-1 GE Profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. Visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew Dermond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
We do say welcome in. Welcome back. We're live. We're brand new. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew Dermond, welcome in on a Friday morning. We've made it through the end of the week, and we've got a fantastic show set for you this morning. We'll get you ready for the Final Four in San Antonio. Check in with Bruce Pearl. We'll check in with Todd Golden. Drop in on the Auburn locker room. Your high today, 85 degrees, 71 right now in the Tennessee Valley. Make sure if you flip on that air and it doesn't work, or it's not cool enough for you right now as you kind of maybe need to turn it on today, make sure you give the guys from Talon Heating and Air a call, 256-503-4490. Folks, they've got a lot of talent. They're just sitting around with their feet up, waiting for you to give them a call, kind of like one of these old telethons. Got to give them a call, put them to work. Talon Heating and Air, 256-503-4490, talenthvac.com. If you give them a call right now, I guarantee you they will pick the phone up. Somebody will pick the phone up. They're ready to go. They're live. They're local. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, give them a call. You know they're good when they've got over 40 years of experience. So give them a call. Talent Heating and Air. We are off and we are running on this Friday morning. Coming up tomorrow, the Final Four resumes from it actually tips off from San Antonio. Basketball is underway. Bruce Pearl spent some time in front of the microphone yesterday in San Antonio. Here's the coach again talking about Auburn getting to the Final Four.
No, what I've tried to do all year long is demonstrate that this is uncharted waters for Auburn men's basketball. We had some great moments in our history, great coaches, Sonny Smith and Cliff Ellis, great players, and Charles Barkley and Chuck Person and several others, but no real sustained great success. And here we are at the Final Four. Like Houston's won national championships. They've got history with Guy Lewis. They've been here before. You know, Duke's, that story's been over and over again, right? And Billy Donovan took Florida here, won a couple national championships, so Florida's got more history. We come in as the overall number one, but we're probably considered the fourth best team here right now. So there is nothing new, and I prefer the underdog role rather than having to prove that we're as good as we say we are. So we're going to take that underdog role into the Final Four and see if we can capitalize on it.
That's Bruce Pearl spending some time in front of the microphone yesterday in San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was the huge media day for the Final Four. Of course, the action will start tomorrow. You'll hear that on ESPN 97.7 The Zone, and Auburn will take the floor against Florida. And then the Duke Blue Devils, of course, are going to be trying to continue their run against Houston. So it's going to be two great high-level matchups. It's pretty much stuck all week. I've been checking it periodically. I think Auburn is still a 2.5-point dog. May have changed by this morning, but I know yesterday they were still a 2.5-point dog to Florida. We've kind of talked about it because the Gators won the first game 90-81, and to top it all off, they didn't have Elijah Martin. They didn't have Han Lockton. So they didn't have two of their big rotational pieces. Auburn does seem to have everybody, though. I mean, the health of Jonai Broom and not his sons, Johnny and Jahoney, is healthy.
Yeah, went through full participant yesterday.
I mean, we all know he's not 100%. I mean, I'm sure that he's getting tons of round-the-clock treatment by the training staff and the medical folk. But he's going to go out there. He's going to be a warrior. I know he's stated to Jeff Goodman and other media members that he's good to go. There's no limitations with the elbow. But I will say it's been a while since he's been 100%. So he missed a couple weeks with a sprained ankle. He's missed.
He had the separated shoulder.
Well, yeah, I mean he's hit his shoulder a couple of times and missed time in games. He missed quite a few minutes in that regional final with the elbow situation. I mean, he's missed time throughout the year. So Auburn is used to playing without him, and they've been able to finish games without him. So they've only lost 4 games all year. I mean, these are your 4 best teams in the country when you think about all of them having at least 32 wins. And I believe Houston's got 3 losses, and then 4 losses for Florida, 4 losses for Auburn, and 3 for Duke. So these are your elite right here.
Dylan Cardwell. So while the coaches sat in front of the microphone on a big old podium and all that fun stuff, locker room was open. Mm-hmm. And Dylan Cardwell is kind of the guy that just kind of gets everybody going for Auburn. He's the spark plug, so to speak.
He's also 28 years old, is he not?
He's old.
Yeah.
Had a little fun yesterday. Here's Dylan Cardwell.
I love San Antonio. San Antonio Spurs. You want to draft your boy? I love San Antonio. I don't know. I haven't seen any of the women that Charles Barkley was talking about, but I do. I love San Antonio. I think San Antonio is a great place. Like I said, Spurs, if you're out there, let me know. But no, it's a beautiful spot, and we're right from the Riverwalk. The Riverwalk is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen in a city standpoint. I think it's one of the most walkable cities in America. I'm a big San Antonio fan right now.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen any of the women Charles Barkley was talking about.
Yeah, we remember that. Charles was women in San Antonio.
Yep.
I'm assuming he meant the natives of the city.
I think so. But anyway, Dylan Cardwell. So Saturday.
Yeah.
Duke obviously in Houston. Duke, we all know. Cooper Flagg, outstanding freshman.
Mm-hmm.
If Duke goes on to win the national championship, Cooper Flagg, perhaps your MVP of the Final Four. And I was looking at this, and do you know who the last freshman to be named most outstanding player of the Final Four?
Carmelo Anthony.
No. Tyus Jones.
Oh, of Duke.
In
2015.
Yes. Tyus Jones is the last freshman to be named most outstanding player. And come Saturday into Monday, Cooper Flagg could join if Duke wins the whole thing. Now, if Auburn wins, it'd be somebody. If Houston wins or Florida.
Don't discount Con Knippel as a freshman, too. I mean,
that's true. That's true.
I mean, I'm just saying when Cooper was hurt in the ACC tournament, he was MVP of that tournament.
Right.
And then, when he was somewhat held in check, I mean, he still had a good game against Alabama. Con Knippel was kind of the go-to guy. So they're going to try to double Cooper some. So Con Knippel is another one to watch, but I had forgot about Tyus Jones. He made a huge three to kind of ice it against Wisconsin after Kentucky thought they were going to be the greatest team in the history of college basketball and supplant the 1976 Indiana Hoosiers and go undefeated. And then Wisconsin said, "Hold my beer."
Since 2003, we have only had 1, 2, 3 freshmen win most outstanding player since 2003. Yeah, 2003 was Carmelo Anthony.
Right.
And then in 2012,
Anthony Davis, right?
Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Yes.
Should have thought about
So
that.
those are the 3 since 2003 to win most outstanding player as a freshman. Now, over the last 4 years, juniors and seniors have dominated it. Remember, we didn't have one in 2020.
Yeah, thanks to Dr. Dumbass.
In 21, Jared Butler from Baylor was a junior. And then we had a senior, junior, senior. So in that pattern, a junior would be the next one to get it this year. So anyway, that is.
Well, I mean, to me, if you look at these teams and you look at the 4 that could potentially win the national championship, the only one where you could see a freshman is Duke. I think all these other teams are veteran teams. I mean, they have some,
Tahad Pettiford, if he had 2 good games.
Yeah, if Tahad went off, say he averaged 20 plus in the Final Four, that could be possible. But I'll be honest, Auburn is not going to win it all
unless Johni Broome has doubles.
Johni Broome, not his brothers Jahoni and Johnny. So unless Johni Broome plays really well, gets 2 doubles, and wins, the player of the year in the Final Four. That's just, in my opinion.
Let's see here. Newhart. You know where I've got to go with this now I think this is, hopefully there's no commercial. There is a commercial. I got to give it about 5 seconds here.
Yeah.
This is what I was going to go with.
Now, of course, I was coming into work this morning, and I go by that lot, and I can't.
Now, do you see the dirt being moved?
I know, but I just can't help thinking of Shipley's Donuts and these kolaches.
Here we go. This is what I was making reference to.
Oh, yes. Dick, the gentlemen are here. Hurry, okay?
Oh, boy.
I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl. That's my other brother Daryl.
I knew it. The New Heart Show.
Yes.
Jahoney and Johnny.
This is my brother. I'm Jonah. This is my brother Johnny and Johnny.
And my other brother Jahoney. Oh, boy. Classic.
Anyway,
we need to go. John needs to go back and cut that out. We can make a liner out of that. Especially if Auburn wins it. Then we could get Joe and I on the show. And then we can play that before we talk to him.
Oh, my goodness.
Man.
Anyway, so Auburn is going to be taking on Florida, that we know. And Todd Golden has a special relationship with Bruce Pearl. Yesterday, Golden in front of the mic talking about
11 years ago was on the staff.
Talking about that relationship.
You know, it's a little surreal, to be honest, to be able to be here at the Final Four. That in itself is a little surreal, but, you know, playing on Saturday against one of your biggest and best mentors, you know, not exactly something you expect, you know, when the season starts. And, you know, I know he's incredibly proud of me. I'm incredibly grateful for him and his family and the opportunities that they provided for me. I would not be here, you know, if I didn't have my relationship and experience, you know, working with and being around Bruce and his son, Steven. And it's a little bit of a full circle moment, you know, I'm sure for both of us. And, you know, when the ball goes up on Saturday, it's going to be pretty cutthroat. But, you know, until then, you know, there'll be a lot of love shown and, again, a surreal moment for sure.
So pretty cool little moment there.
Yeah, I mean, Todd Golden is had a mercurial rise to being on that Auburn staff back in 2014 to now already, you know, being in a Final Four in only year 3 in Gainesville. I mean, he did remarkable things at San Francisco before he was hired by Scott Strickland. Been Scott Strickland's best hire so far during his tenure with the Gators. Kevin O'Sullivan, of course, was already in place. You know, so they've as baseball coach won a national championship there. We all know the success of the softball program. That, you know, those guys, you know, have been in that staff has been in place a long time. But he did a great job of solving that riddle. And again, let me go back. I don't think Mike White was necessarily bad. I just don't think he was consistent. And because he did reach an Elite Eight, let's not forget. The year that South Carolina went to the Final Four, the Gators were in the Elite Eight. So he had some success at Florida. He just hasn't done what Todd Golden has accomplished. And quite frankly, I wasn't as familiar with Todd Golden.
No.
I watched his teams at San Francisco, and they were really, really good. So didn't know quite what to expect when he came to Gainesville, but it's certainly been an outstanding fit, and he's certainly finna get paid.
He getting paid.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get paid.
You're right.
So we got to get a break in. We'll come back. We'll get to your phone calls.
Jahoney and Johnny, too.
We'll get to your phone calls. Alabama A&M has a new man on the hill.
We hit that one.
We did, didn't we? We'll fill you in there. We got some college football conversation to get through. Jaden Rashada is visiting a new school. He's in the portal.
How the mighty have fallen.
We've got TJ Finley's in trouble.
Our boy John Summerall's having to deal with that.
Oh boy. I promise we won't steal anything. We'll be back after this.
That's like
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
The Bass Pro Shops Red Crest Championship Outdoor Expo will be at the Von Braun Center April 4th, 5th, and 6th in conjunction with the MLF Red Crest Championship on Lake Guntersville. The Outdoor Expo will be open from 11 to 6:30 daily, and the first 200 kids 14 and under on Saturday will receive a free Abu Garcia rod and reel, courtesy of WHNT News 19. There will be hourly giveaways, tackle and boat deals, seminars, and a chance to meet the pros. And it's free of charge. The Bass Pro Shops Red Crest Championship Outdoor Expo, April 4th through 6th at the BBC.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your club will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
Now is the time to sign up for the Eagle Installation WZZN Charity Golf Tournament to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This year's event is the morning of April 21st at Cherokee Ridge, and each member of the winning team not only gets the championship belts, but a full-year membership to Cherokee Ridge. Breakfast and lunch are provided, plus tremendous prizes and a chance to win $100,000. Cost is $800 a team or $200 per individual, and corporate sponsorships are available. Send an email to 977WZZNevents@gmail.com to reserve your spot today.
We are your home for March Madness.
Double dumps, Pettiford splits it, floats it,
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Oh, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Happy Friday morning, everyone. Your high again today is 85 degrees. Should be beautiful, sunny. Get on out and enjoy a beautiful Friday day. Let's go up to the phone lines real fast. Let's get in Pat from Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Pat. What's up, Pat?
Good morning. Good morning, guys. Guys, what I called about this morning is that I see where we're fixing to get an influx of cash across Division I schools. that when football was the biggest reason that this money came about, is it fair that the Gonzagas of the world get to the full $20 million? Shouldn't they only get what would be allocated to Georgia and to all the Division I football programs that are getting the money?
Well, no, because they're all. If you opt in, you're getting the $22 million or so, and it's not you have to decide as a university how it's going to be shared. In other words, if you have football and you are going to divert most of it toward football, you can certainly do that. And that's kind of what was going on with the Maryland situation when Kevin Willard left. They were wondering how much they were going to allocate to football, how much they were going to allocate to basketball. There's not a set, like the only thing that's said is the $22 million, pretty much.
Yes.
If they approve it. After that, the way it's shared is just, it's up to each individual school. And for a Gonzaga, they don't have football, so they would obviously divert it more toward men's basketball, maybe baseball and women's basketball, things of that nature. But the only thing that's consistent, if it's approved, is the share you get per university, as long as you opt in. Now, you don't have to opt in.
Right. There's a few schools that I've seen that are not going to opt in.
Yeah, because I guess they don't feel like they can like sustain it, so to speak, that they won't be able to afford to. It'll make, in other words, because we all know what a lot of this is going toward, and it's going toward, financing your programs and paying your student athletes and things of that nature. So, and several of these schools can't generate that kind of, like when you see St. Francis going to Division III after this year, after being in the first four, they go to Division III because they're not going to be able to sustain their athletic department and their programs.
Yeah. Well, we just had a $30 million deficit at the University of Alabama. They can't sustain it. Softball lost $3.5 million, and I got to blame that on Coach Murphy not charging enough for the tickets. I cannot buy. I have to sit in the brickyard. I cannot go and buy a ticket to Alabama softball to big games. Can't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And with any money, I throw whatever it takes to get in there, but it's difficult to get in there. Those seats are coveted.
Right,
and,
they are.
Well, why are they not charging enough? Why would they have a $3.5 million deficit whenever they got a product that people seem to want to go see? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, ticket sales are a small portion of the money. Pat, what you got to look at is travel expenses. You got to look at the cost of the scholarships for the team. I mean, those scholarships, that gets factored into whether or not it gets factored into a team revenue. So if you have 20 full-time scholarships, or what do they have for softball, that gets factored in there. Your travel costs, your expenses, your hotels, your food, everything that it takes to run, basically, let's just call it a business. Everything that it takes to run that business is what you're having to pay. So ticket portion and the ticket revenue is just a small portion.
And don't forget, they only get 2,000 fans per game. I'm not downtrodden it, but 2,500 to 2,000. That's just not a huge crowd when you're not going to get.
Yeah.
That's why the only two sports on the campus that make money are football and men's basketball, because they draw the best.
Because they can generate a lot more revenue.
And I know in the past, the gymnastics has sold out meets, but that sport cost a crap ton to run.
Yep.
I mean, it really does. That's why they need, to sell tickets in football and basketball. And then
that's why there's a great fear among a lot of universities
of dropping
sports like rowing, track and field,
tennis.
We
saw UAH have to do that
because of the fact that it's going to cost so much to get football and basketball still going. I mean, it's going to take an abnormal amount of money for these sports to stay afloat, that you can't keep losing money in these, what they call Olympic sports. And they're going to have to drop them.
And then UAH, Pat, before we let you finish your thought, UAH, that's a big reason they had to drop hockey, because they couldn't get a conference to take them. And hockey is a very expensive sport.
Yes.
And that's why they had to drop it from varsity competition.
Yes.
And they have brought in lacrosse kind of to replace it, but still,
lacrosse is expensive as well.
Exactly.
I would think that. I mean, just your travel is the biggest thing, and that's where the Big Ten's going to find it's going to be big time issues. You traveling all the way across the country.
We've been talking about that.
In order to play volleyball or whatever it may be, that it's just going to make this stuff cost prohibitive. In these big super or mega conferences, and I think they're going to get bigger. I really think that the conference, the SEC, I'd look for the SEC probably to go to 20 teams soon. What do y'all think?
Well, if it gets bigger, if it gets bigger, then it's going to get worse, because I don't know how sustainable it is on softball and baseball and track and field programs on the West Coast having to travel to the East Coast constantly. Because if you look at the Southeastern Conference, at least there are several ones when you look at it, you can at least bus. And I say that, and a lot of things are like,
Houston is busing to the Final Four. I mean,
3.5 hours, or, whatever, and they bust. That's huge. When you can bus and not fly, athletic directors love that fact, because you don't have to spend as much. I know the Spirit Coach jet for UAH. Every time it's grounded, UAH loves it.
Yeah,
and
Scott saw that. I mean, he started a revolution this year.
Yeah. Apparently, I did among the conference. But anyway, So, but Pat, it's just, I know it's money. It's one of the dark sides right now of a lot of college athletics.
A lot of people were surprised when I told them when Bobby Champagne was on. He admitted to us they're busing like 2 hours or whatever it is to San Antonio. And they're like, they're busing? Yeah, I mean, they're just going to go ahead and bus.
Might as well.
Yeah. Hey, but guys. Martin was talking about it this morning. You got, he was mentioning Texas and Georgia adding. One of them was adding 200 scholarships. One of them was adding 100 scholarships. Alabama wasn't adding but 30 or 40. Hey, but then again, he didn't mention you got the Michigans of the world that have Larry and Joe Lynn Ellison, who are probably the number 3 or so richest couple in the entire world.
Yep.
That has said she will write a check for whatever Michigan needs to be relevant. How do you compete with that? You can't.
Nope. That is where we're at right now. Thanks for the phone call, Pat, as well, by the way.
Michigan won, besides it took them 25 years to win another one in football. They've never won it in baseball, as far as I know, I guess. And they haven't won it in basketball since '89. So they've been to several Final Fours and national championship games. But I'll just say it again. Just because you're going to spend a whole lot of money, look at Texas A&M right now.
There you go. Great example.
They can't even keep a coach.
Great example.
Or as I call them last night, Texas A&M Colt.
Let's get Bama Big Rick on the phone. Good morning, sir.
What's up, man?
We got you, bud.
You on with us?
There we go. We got you.
Yeah, let's turn down that radio a little bit. We'll get you. Let's go. There you go. What's up, man?
This is a Drew. This is my question.
Sure.
Blue Bloods. Okay. When does that end? If you haven't won in 40 years, when does it end?
That's a great question. I
hear we keep talking about these Blue Bloods, and I was driving last week. I said, I've got to ask you this question.
Right.
I used to live in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Those guys have won since 80 years. What,
88. If you're talking about Notre Dame, right? I hope.
Notre Dame or Indiana?
Yeah. And Indiana hasn't won since 87, I think.
Right. So when do we stop calling them Blue Bloods? That's my question.
I'll be honest. I don't really think they still kind of do with Notre Dame because they've been to the finals in 12 and then they made the finals this year and they still have that huge contract with NBC. So they're always on national television. I'll be honest though. I don't think they really refer to Indiana as a blue blood, so to speak, anymore. I mean, I think they've won 3 national championships. Don't get it wrong. 76, 81, 87.
Right.
But they haven't been to the Final Four, I think, since 92. So, and then, excuse me, and then 02, because Mike Davis made that Cinderella run to the finals and Maryland beat them. But they haven't made a run in a long time. So they're kind of dormant. I don't really know. I don't hear people refer to Indiana anymore. All they refer to them now is a basketball school. They don't really refer to them as a blue blood. But Notre Dame, I think it's because, of the TV contract, and they did regain some relevancy this year by making that run, and then they made one in 12. It's just been every, decade or so. But you're right. They're closing in on 40, and, man, I hope it gets there.
So in basketball right now then,
Right.
In basketball, who would be the blue bloods in basketball?
Well, I mean, Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, UConn, UCLA, even though you can even make an argument with UCLA because they haven't won it since 95. But don't forget, about over 10 years ago now, but Ben Howland went to a few Final Fours.
Right,
There's no doubt about it. So UCLA is still very, very, relevant, even though all those national championships before 95 were in the 70s, 60s and 70s. But it's hard to discount 10, you know what I'm saying? Because they've won all those. So I guess you would still consider them somewhat of a blue blood, but I think it's a small group. I don't consider Gonzaga has done a hell of a job and played in a couple of national championship games, but I don't consider them a blue blood. I do consider them one of the best basketball programs in the country. But the blue bloods are the ones that, they go to the most Final Fours, that win national championships.
The perennial ones.
Yeah, the perennial ones. I don't know. I think Michigan State's right underneath that because they've only won a couple. Judd Heathcote with Magic, and then we know Tom Izzo, and that's the last Big Ten team to win it.
They got to the Final Four in 19, Michigan State.
Yeah.
That was their last trip to the Final Four.
So I think the blue bloods it's a small group, in my opinion.
All right, then. Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the question. Appreciate that, man.
Let's get
and then one other thing I'll say, just like for Florida,
right?
They won 2 in back to back, 06, 07.
Right.
I don't consider them a blue blood, even though they've made several Final Four trips. Because now, if Billy had stayed and won a couple of more,
so they made the
final saying that, but they're just there. I don't think they're a blue blood.
So 06 and 07,
yeah.
Then they made the Final Four again in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the Final Four again in 2024.
Right. I mean, Kentucky, even though Kentucky hasn't been, this will be 10 years.
Right.
They're still a blue blood. I mean, heck, they've won 8 national championships. They've dominated the SEC. They got a rabid fan base. They've, and again, that's just 10 years ago. So, but again, I just think it's a very small group that you would consider basketball blue bloods. And those are the jobs that hardly ever come open. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about 2 coaches in 40 years. And that's why I said Michigan State's right underneath.
Well, yeah, because
Judd Heathcote and Tom Izzo.
Yep.
I mean,
I know. Growing up, Judd Heathcote. It's like Purdue, though, on coaching wise. It's like Purdue.
Well, that's pretty
Gene
much.
Cady was
Painter.
there forever, and then Matt Painter comes in, and that's it. I mean, it's been Gene
But you can't
Cady.
consider them a blue blood because they've only been to one Final Four since
Right.
1980.
Yeah, I'm not putting them in the blue blood. I'm just going on that coaching thing.
Well,
it's Judd Heathcote and Tom Izzo. It's been Gene Cady and Matt Painter.
Well, and then I've heard people talking about, because Alabama right now is ranked back in the top 10 in baseball,
Right.
and they're like, well, Texas A&M came calling for Rob Vaughn. He didn't go last year. Can Alabama hold on? The SEC baseball jobs are like the creme de la creme. And you don't see the Major League Baseball going and hiring baseball coaches in college to be managers. Okay, that doesn't happen.
Right.
So if you give a baseball coach in the SEC what he needs and wants, guy ain't leaving. I mean, that's where college baseball, it's gonna continue to be slanted heavily toward the South,
right?
The Big 12, but the SEC with that TV contract, though, it's no accident that 8 of the top 10 right now are from the SEC. I'm sorry, and then they go cherry pick a couple of one's a blue blood, Texas in baseball. You could say they're a blue blood in baseball, and Oklahoma's close. So you go ahead and go get those 2. The SEC is just a meat grinder, and I still think it's going to continue to be most years at least 4 SEC teams in the College World Series. It just is. People are trying to get used to it.
All right, well, we got to get a break in. When we come back, we'll introduce you to the new Alabama A&M basketball coach. Plus, we'll get some college football conversation in there. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 80s. Only falling off into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy sky Saturday afternoon. Temperatures once again climbing into the mid 80s. Showers and thunderstorms are going to move into the Tennessee Valley Saturday night, early into Sunday morning. As of right now, it looks like we're talking about a lot of rain and some significant wind. The high temperature Sunday afternoon only hanging out in the upper 60s and lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Still looking good this morning. Traffic at a heavy level across the valley, but we're not seeing any wrecks, stalls, or traffic signal problems. One of those Friday morning things that usually means Friday afternoon is going to be really busy. With more than 30 years experience, D&L Refrigeration can save you money on those heating and air conditioning repairs. 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. March Madness is here, and it's time to hoop it up at Baumhauer's Victory Grill with our Slam Dunk specials. It's nothing but net with a pound of our world-famous wings. Tip it off with our party-ready trays, including traditional wings, buttermilk fried chicken tenders, and hot lips, to name a few. Want a cold beer with those wings? How about $7.99 pitchers of Yingling served all day, 7 days a week? Break out those brackets and bring the gang to the best watch party place in town, Baumhauer's Victory Grill, the true king of wings.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the big zone deals store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
Never miss 1 second of Charger baseball with the Charger Zone.
Wendell, Knowles, Lindsay, 6, 4, 3, double play, and UAH is 1 out away.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
All right, here we go. With the help of the Maroon and White Band.
Here we go.
The maroon and white band was on full display yesterday. Oh, they were rocking it. They were there to introduce the newest basketball coach on the Hill.
Yep.
And that we said over the air, we had feeling that Dante Jackson, the Grambling basketball coach, would make the move from Grambling to Alabama A&M, and he sure did. Dante Jackson takes over on the Hill for Otis Hughley. In 15 seasons, 263 up and 185 down, a 3-time SWAC Conference Coach of the Year. He guided Grambling State to not 1, not 2, but 3 regular season conference titles in 8 seasons, a trip to the 2024 basketball tournament, the NCAA tournament. He does have a relationship with athletics director Dr. Paul A. Bryant. Bryant hired him at Grambling. Bryant hired him at Stillman, and now he's hired him at Alabama A&M. So Alabama A&M has their basketball coach.
Yes, they do, and no doubt. And he did a great job at Grambling. He got them regularly to the NCAA tournament. He even had some success, won a game in the first 4. So I think it's a big time hire by athletic director Paul Bryant and the Alabama A&M family. With this new facility that they have that's just state of the art. That event center is, for the right opponent was already drawing really well, but the product on the floor wasn't great. If the product improves, there's no telling, what kind of home court advantage that could be exponentially. And so I think it was probably the right time to make a move for Alabama A&M. They've put themselves in position to be near the top of the SWAC, especially in basketball. And we all know there's a lot of basketball talent around here that could be a potential Alabama A&M Bulldogs. So I think it's a good move by A&M, and certainly we look forward to speaking with Coach Jackson and finding out what his plan is for this program.
All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can reach out to us on this Friday morning. And since we're with basketball, just bring up this one thing. I know there's a billion people in the transfer portal on the college basketball side. But
it seems like
a billion, yes. But when I saw AJ Starr go into the portal for Kansas,
the 6,520th time,
I had to laugh.
Yeah.
Because AJ Starr, now all this is not in college, but next year, AJ Starr will be playing for his 8th school in 8 years.
Oh, you're talking about even going back to high school.
If you're going back to high school, this will be his 8th school in 8 years.
See, we always talk about having fun here at 97.7 The Zone. What I need to start having in here is like maybe put it underneath the.
We wanted a gong.
No, well, we talked about a gong going over there. We could put a gong under the TV and hit a gong.
We could hit a gong.
What we need by the gong is I need to have like some kind of bracket hung up and put a red flag there, just red. It's red, and then just pick it up and start waving it like if an SOB has been to eight schools in 8 years. Red flag, stay away from it. Stay away. He averaged 6 points a game for Kansas. I don't know how much a minute that was for he got paid, but he wasn't worth 10 cents. Red flag. TJ Finley, red flag. Red flag.
You bring up TJ Finley.
That's another segue.
Let's bring up TJ Finley. TJ Finley. And he's on his 5th college.
He's the king of cars right now. I don't know if anybody saw that show.
He repoing somebody's car.
Oh my God.
He just didn't ask for permission before he took it. TJ Finley, who, by the way, is in his 5th college in 6 seasons, transferred at the end of the year to Tulane and our good friend John Summerall.
Yeah.
Finley, though, was arrested on charges in connection to the robbery of a car. He's since been released from jail and since been suspended by the Green Wave. Finley told police that he had recently purchased a car in Atlanta. However, authorities reportedly booked him for being in possession of an item that was stolen at a value of more than $25,000.
I guess he didn't have a receipt or a bill of sale.
Apparently not. So Finley had to go to the clink.
Yeah.
And he got out. But Tulane did issue a statement. He's now suspended from the team. John Summerall did have to address it, and he said they're aware of the situation. He's been suspended pending the outcome of the case due to federal laws. They're not going to discuss anything and yada, yada, yada. But, man, problems for the former Auburn, former Western Kentucky, former
Texas State.
Wherever quarterback, TJ Finley.
For LSU. The debate last night on the drive was how many times he'd started against Alabama and how many schools. Well, he started against Alabama at LSU. Then before that, he started, and then, then after that, he started against Alabama at Auburn. And then last year, he started against Alabama for Western Kentucky. And West said, well, every time I turn on the TV, he's starting for somebody. And so
well, he's not going to be starting right now for Tulane.
I don't think he started against Alabama at Texas State, but certainly he and then West did ask, does Alabama play Tulane this year? No, they do not. So but yeah, red flag, everybody. Red flag.
So TJ Finley's attorneys.
Oh my goodness.
TJ Finley's attorneys. This is a statement from his attorneys.
Right.
Say that he was TJ Finley was a victim of a Facebook marketplace scam.
Oh my goodness.
Finley's attorneys also said that he did have a bill of sale and registration for the vehicle. The statement said Finley does plan to cooperate with authorities. He was in illegal possession of a stolen vehicle. He told police he purchased the truck recently. So there you go.
Well, it sounded like he dealt with the wrong kind of folk.
So just be careful, I guess, when you buy something off Facebook Marketplace.
I've sold it, and on there you do have to be careful.
Yeah.
Usually I have a friend help me out.
Have you bought a bunch of stuff from Facebook Marketplace?
No, just sold.
You selling stuff?
Mostly these
phones.
Yeah. Just sell your iPhone on the secondary market after you get you a new one.
Yeah, I do have one sitting at home.
Do you? Well, I would
get a little cash for
I would recommend selling it on Marketplace and seeing if some folks want to be interested in it.
All right. How about this one? Jaden Rashada. Speaking of Western Kentucky.
And diminishing value like a used car.
As soon as you get it off the lot, the car goes down.
Yeah.
As soon as you buy Jaden Rashada, the value goes down.
It does.
How many schools will this be for Jaden Rashada?
Well, he committed to Miami, then he flipped to Florida. Then Florida wouldn't give him his money, and he went to Arizona State. And then he went from Arizona State to Georgia. That's 5. At least he's been committed or signed to. And this would be number 6. Red flag! Red flag! Wait a minute!
Wave it! That's a red flag. Jaden Rashada. Oh, he's going to visit Western Kentucky.
Of course he is. He has to follow in the footsteps of his cousin, TJ Finley.
Rashada did go in the portal in January.
He did. I was trying to figure out where the hell he was because he left right after they got beat in the playoffs. Jaden Rashada left to
did not appear in the game. Did not appear in a game for Georgia at all. Buried on the depth chart.
That is an apropos term if you talk to the Georgia people. Buried. I hope he kept some of his NIL money. That's all I'm saying.
Let's get a break in.
He started 2 games in his career, both at Arizona State. So,
boy,
there you go.
Hits just keep on coming, don't they?
I saw Pete Thamel report he was visiting Western Kentucky, and I thought, God bless him.
Wow, how the mighty have fallen.
Talking about how a kid took advantage of NIL and stupid rankings that don't mean anything because he was supposed to be a high 4-star quarterback. Does it look like it now? It looks like he wouldn't even on a used car lot. He'd be over there by himself.
He would be the one that you could.
Probably a lemon.
Prices are slashed.
Yeah, you get a Carfax report back from that. It's gonna
be bad.
You better have some bourbon.
Carfax report on Jaden Rashada.
My goodness.
Bruised ego, number 1.
Overrated. There you go. I'm not the only one that hammers the table, everybody.
It just felt easy. All right.
There you go.
All right, let's get a break in. Wrap up hour 1 next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Still looking all clear this morning. I'm not seeing anything accident-wise. No stalls, no traffic signal headaches. Just a heavy traffic load. All those inbounds are pretty well stacked up now. Have you tried numerous weight loss plans and nothing seems to work? Your hormones could be the problem. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Countdown to the 2025 Trash Panda season is on. Tickets are available for the full 2025 home schedule, including opening night on Friday, April 4th. But it doesn't end there. The Trash Panda season opens with 9 home games in 10 days, featuring theme nights, giveaways, fireworks, and more. This opening homestand has it all. For more information, check us out online at trashpandasbaseball.com.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining and entertainment. Las Vegas. With flights starting as low as just $79, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia if you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. At Newmarket, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 2190 County Road 65 very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Newmarket.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Definitely 80s. Oh, man. I got to drive to Coleman this morning to get my hair cut.
All the way to Coleman?
Yeah, I drive to Coleman to get my hair. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Because, yes.
Dang, you must have a hell of a hairdresser or stylist in Coleman.
Yes.
Wow.
She did it the whole time while I was on TV.
Gotcha.
And she was here in town.
Oh, but she moved.
And she moved to Coleman.
That makes sense.
And so I've just stayed with her. And
Nice.
so, yes.
I had one for a long, long time through my youth and adulthood, and then he retired, and so I understand that. I just but he never really moved.
He moved to Coleman. I moved
out of town. But woof.
Yeah. And so that song there, I mean, I'll have some of that music playing in the car while I head.
Hell, I may just I'll pass through Coleman probably while you're getting your hair cut. I'm going to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, coming up in a little bit, Rodney Orr is going to join us as we kind of detail Alabama's scrimmage of the fall. Bill Connolly on ESPN.com put out an article about the most interesting college football teams this spring. And one of those that he put on there, and he says Alabama. And he says why the Crimson Tide are interesting for the spring. And he says a ridiculously talented team needs a quarterback.
They do.
That's the headline for Alabama.
But I will. Only thing I will say is I'm not going to go far enough to say ridiculously talented yet. I think they're very talented,
right?
But they do need more consistent quarterback play. They didn't have a great fit last year. We'll see if Ty Simpson continues to play well. He's had a good spring, according to all reports already, and Keelan Russell's a good young talent, and so is Austin Mack. But it's a three-way dance. But I think Ty is definitely in the lead.
It's almost like you read this article without reading the article. It says, and I quote, Jalen Milroe boasted massive upside and mobility, but he never offered the passing consistency that DeBoer and his staff are used to, and went just 27 of 58 with 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions in late losses to Oklahoma and Michigan.
And don't forget the down the stretch, even against Vandy, he had some turnovers that led to that loss, even though they scored enough points to win it. And don't forget the just horrendous first half and even into the second half. He did not play well at all against Tennessee because Alabama should have had a much bigger lead, and he did not perform well at all.
Conley puts in the article, spring tea leaves suggest that Ty Simpson will most likely start against Florida State in week 1. Alabama does scrimmage tomorrow. You will be there. Is it today?
Yes.
Today. I keep thinking, so why would you scrimmage?
Well, because it's Nick Saban is not the retired. Okay. Every scrimmage under Coach Saban was, of
on
course,
Saturday.
As we know.
Okay. So they scrimmage
This
today.
will be on Friday, yes.
You will be there. Rodney Orr will most likely be there. He's not going to be there, but he's going to be with us next.
That's where Rodney's going to
See, I thought eventually you just keep throwing darts at the board.
Red flag!
I am not a red flag.
I'm just kidding about that. It's very good.
If you throw darts.
Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Men's Final Four Saturday night, just after 6 Eastern. Auburn a 2.5-point underdog against the Florida Gators. The Tigers at plus 130. The over-under is 159.5. The Tigers arrived in San Antonio on Wednesday to start preparing. The Atlanta Braves were off on Thursday. They open up the home half of their schedule tonight, looking to shake off an 0-7 start to the season. They'll take on the 4-3 Marlins. Spencer Schwellenbach starts for Atlanta. The Braves minus 250, the Marlins plus 205. NASCAR Cup Series, Goodyear 400, Kyle Larson plus 450 to take the checkered flag. Tyler Reddick plus 650, Denny Hamlin plus 700. I'm Chuck Sanders on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. Their locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew Dermond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It's hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. How about SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives? We say it over and over. They're the official medical providers for one UAH and Rocket City Trash Pandas. Both of them are in action today.
Yeah, the Trash Pandas home opener and season opener.
Trash Pandas on the diamond tonight. UAH on the diamonds today as well, softball and baseball. So SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care. 256-881-5151, sportsmedalabama.com. Find them online, give them a call, tell them we said hey. They probably won't do anything for you, but just tell them we said hey anyway. Alabama back on the scrimmage field today.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about to end hour number 1, it's an intriguing spring because there are some holes that Alabama is going to have to fill, and most notably that quarterback spot. Some familiar names, though, vying for that spot. I think none bigger than Ty Simpson, right?
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback position is always going to be the one that draws the most interest. There's no question about that. But it's, since football season is wrapped up, it's been a while since we've caught up with our next guest. We also talked with him some down the stretch in recruiting, but a lot of that gets done in December as well. But there's no one better that, has a pulse on Alabama football than Rodney Orr since 1996, covering the Crimson Tide. And, of course, he'll have his ear to the ground today. It's a little bit different a little different world under Kalen DeBoer than under Nick Saban. Because, like we said, Coach Saban's scrimmages were always on Saturdays. Now, not so much with Kalen DeBoer. We had one last Thursday, and now it was the first official one of spring practice. This will be number 2 later this afternoon on Friday, and he will have his ear to the ground as good as anyone. And we're going to talk some spring practice buzz right now with Rodney. Rodney, you're with Drew and Scott. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are y'all doing?
We're doing well, and I'll read the headline on the front of TiderInsider.com. Spring practice vibes still very positive. I know the season was a little rocky in Kalen DeBoer's first year, but I would agree with your sentiment there, Rodney. I haven't heard anything of vast concern. I know spring practice has already changed a lot, even the last calendar year, with how they're handling it due to the transfer portal and NIL, but seems to have been a lot of positivity coming out from Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of goes back to the fourth quarter program that they have, their workouts leading up to spring practice. And, the things we were hearing from that was really positive. I think the team overall had a great attitude going through that program, the off season that they do, the winter workouts and all of those things. I think they had great leadership in that. And it sounds like it's carried over to the practice field, which obviously they started back in early March. But, it sounds like that, they've had a lot of intense practices. Again, let's be clear, Drew and Scott. Now, media's closed out. We've had one 10 to 15 minute viewing period. But otherwise, you talk to sources, people there that are at practice on a daily basis. And, the things you hear, the feedback you get is that it's been really intense. I mean, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy. So I think that's been really encouraging.
Mm-hmm. What have been some of the biggest takeaways as far as personnel goes that we can take away from early spring? I mean, this is a time too where, and Drew and I have talked about it on the show. We don't put we put a little bit into it,
But this is also a time where Alabama can experiment, move guys around,
Right.
move pieces to different areas to try things out. What's
Mm-hmm.
been some of those kind of takeaways from spring?
Well, first of all, they've got about 11 guys, I think DeBoer listed, 10 or 11, that were either not going to be able to participate due to injury or would be very limited to non-contact. So a lot of guys, whether it's Deontay Lawson, Caden Proctor, Justin Jefferson, you could go down the list. Danny Lewis, a guy that could certainly be valuable right now as a tight end because they're down to 2 as we go through spring practice because they had another injury. Marshall Pritchett, freshman tight end, who's really, really impressive, was having a great spring till he went down. So he'll be out the rest of spring. Should be back ready to go in August, my understanding. But with that said, the injuries have kind of allowed a lot of guys, whether it's on the offensive line, in the secondary. Again, Damani Jackson's out. So that's given opportunities to guys like Cam Calhoun, the transfer from Utah, who has really had a good spring based on things we heard early. And Dejon Lee has been a guy that they've been raving about since, the day he got here. He's had a great spring, a 6'4" corner, true freshman out of California. So it's just given a lot of guys opportunities to get a lot of reps in. I think you look at the young talent that they have, it's pretty impressive. I mean, I think they've done a nice job, DeBoer and staff, Courtney Morgan, of holding on to that first recruiting class that they got when they took over for Saban in the early transition. And then I would say that this group that they're bringing in, it seems to have a lot of really good players. I mean, we could go down the list and name, the guys, but I think they've done a fantastic job. So a lot of those young guys are getting reps right now.
They are, and and the group that I'm hearing a ton of buzz about, and it should look. I mean, there's a couple of stalwarts back in Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams, but the rest of that wide receiver core is probably going to look a lot different and a lot more dynamic if what we're hearing is true, Rodney.
That's been the buzz out of the building. It's just, and they were even talking about it before spring practice started, was they expected this group to take a big jump. First of all, they're really, really well coached. I think Jamarcus Shepard is one of the top wide receiver coaches in America. So you knew that last year he was going to take that step this year, I think. But yeah, Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, obviously, and then Isaiah Horton, the Miami transfer. He's a big physical kid, about 6'4", 210. He had a great first scrimmage, multiple touchdown receptions in that scrimmage. He's a guy that I think is going to make a strong contribution from day one once the season gets going. But you've got some other guys. I mean, Jalen Hale is. I don't know that he's 100%, but he's getting really close. It seems like he had a touchdown reception in the scrimmage last week. He's an extraordinarily gifted kid. We saw him as a true freshman make that great catch against Ole Miss. Then he was injured, missed all of last year. So he's back. Cole Adams is healthy, and Cole's a really good player. Rico Scott is a guy that later on in the season last year, you could see he had a lot of talent at receiver. But some of the young guys that I really am impressed with, and I think they both have a great chance to make contributions this year. Derek Meadows, 6'5", 210-pound freshman out of Las Vegas. A lot of buzz about him. I mean, he's a guy that's got legit speed. I think he's farther along as a receiver, in terms of just having the skills that a receiver has. He's not, I mean, I'm not saying he's not still somewhat raw in different ways, but I think he's probably farther along than what people expected. And then Latsir Brooks, he wears number 17 for a reason. I mean, he does have a little waddle in him. He's very explosive, very dynamic, and he's looked really good. So I think that wide receiver core, it's a group that we've been saying, it might be the most improved unit on the team.
Well, obviously, Rodney Orr joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And Rodney, obviously, tomorrow or this afternoon, I get this in my head. The scrimmage is actually today. There's going to be a lot of attention on that quarterback spot. Ty Simpson, obviously, everything we hear and that I've heard is that Ty Simpson has had a fantastic spring so far, but there's a lot of other guys that are going to get some reps today as well.
Yeah, Ty has done a really good job. He had a great scrimmage statistically last week. He had, I think it was 3 touchdown passes. He had another one that was dropped that would have been given him 4, obviously, but he had no turnovers, is my understanding. And so right now, I think he's positioning himself really well. I think it's still very competitive there with Austin Mack, and then also the highly touted freshman Keelan Russell. And, both those guys have had some moments. I mean, they both are very talented too. And, it's just consistency. All 3 of them, none of the 3 have much experience. I mean, obviously Keelan has none.
Mm-hmm.
Mack has very little. He's thrown 3 passes in his college career to this point. As long as, Ty's been here, he's going on his 4th year here. I think he's only thrown, if I'm not mistaken, it's around 50 passes. It's not very many. So there's not much experience there at that position. But Keelan Russell, because everyone knows some had him the number 1 player in the country, certainly one of the top 5. But he's a guy that I think is going to live up to the hype eventually. I don't know if it's going to be this year or not, but he eventually, the buzz we're getting from a lot of observers is eventually he'll be the guy. He kind of has that Tua, Bryce Young feel to him.
Mm-hmm. We're talking to Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com, as we preview the second scrimmage of Kalen DeBoer's second year at the University of Alabama. It will happen later today in Tuscaloosa. Also, Rodney, we've offensively, the O-line is a big topic because Caden Proctor is basically no contact this spring. We know he played with a torn labrum last year. Wilkin Formby, I know, spoke to the media this week. His development is key. And then they've got young kids like Jackson Lloyd. And then they have the potential, left guard has to play itself out. They have the potential to be good, from guard to guard with when you're talking about the 2 guard spots and then center.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right now, if you look at the offense, that and tight end are probably 2 of the big question marks. Not that they can't be really good. I mean, obviously, Caden Proctor has been a little injured. Obviously, he played last year with a hurt shoulder most of the year, not all the year. But so he's been limited this spring. He's given some young guys opportunities. Olas Alenin has worked there. I know that's kind of out of position for him. He's more of an interior player. Excuse me, but he's worked at left tackle. And so has Jackson Lloyd. That's a name to remember for fans. We talked about the recruiting that they've done. Jackson Lloyd is a true freshman out of California that was a 5-star rated player by some. And he is he sounds like he's the real deal. 6'7", about 310 or so. And I think they're extremely excited about him. So, but yeah, the offensive line and then tight end, I mentioned they're down to 2 guys with all the injuries that they have. Josh Cuevas and redshirt freshman Jay Lindsey. So their numbers right there are down. Don't be surprised. Now look, Pritchett's going to be back. Caleb Edwards is a true freshman coming in from California, who's a great player, great prospect, and then Danny Lewis should be back. So, but I won't be surprised if they nab a tight end out of the portal.
Boy, now you can see why. After listing and talking to you and then reading the numbers, you can see why he does not have a spring game, Kalen DeBoer. Rodney, just to even have one, the numbers would not even be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of been the talk is, would they even have, enough to make 2 teams because of health, and they've got some guys that are still practicing that are banged up. I was talking to someone yesterday and said, hey, look, there's some guys banged up in the secondary. So you're right. I mean, I think the numbers are, would probably prevent it from being really effective scrimmage, in 8A.
Yeah, and then defensively, kind of talk about the buzz you've been hearing. I know some returnees like Tim Keenan, LT Overton. I've heard some good things about them. I still think the defensive line overall is the key. But you talked about Dejon Lee. There's the Ivan Taylors of the world. It sounds like the secondary, it was a huge question going into last year, could be the strength of the defense. And then a lot of guys out hurt at the linebacker core, so that's given newcomers like a Luke Metz and Duke Johnson, some young guys, a chance to get reps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, starting with the defensive line, I mean, I think when you look at Keenan and LT Overton and James Smith, those three are pretty stout. I think they should be really good up front with that first group. It's kind of the depth, and they've got a lot of young players. I mean, when you look at Jordan Renaud, who's going into his third year now, it's kind of time for him to take that next step, and he's a really talented kid. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been waiting for Renaud to kind of break out, and I think this is going to be his opportunity. Keon Keeley, who of course everyone knows was the 5-star linebacker they brought in a couple of years ago. Now he's going into his third year in the program, and they've moved him last year to defensive end. And the word is Keon has taken that next step. He's getting that defensive end figured out. So, and now he's 6'5", 280. So he's gotten a lot bigger. So watch for Keon Keeley, Jordan Renaud, Edric Hill, an interior player, Jeremiah Beeman, another guy that play inside. Those guys are the ones that you really need to kind of step up. And I know that they've got Steve Mbamoa, the kid that transferred from a JUCO who originally signed the year before but had to go JUCO from Canada. And you look at him on the hoof, I mean, he's about 310 pounds. He could be an animal once he learns what he's, kind of doing. So I do agree with you, Drew, about the defensive line. It's time for some of those guys, the younger players, to kind of develop and step up. And then the inside linebacker, you mentioned Deontay's out, Justin Jefferson's out. It's giving Nakai Hill-Green, the transfer from Colorado, opportunities. Those freshmen, Duke Johnson, Luke Metz, but Abdul Sanders had a really big scrimmage last Saturday. And in the secondary, a lot of talent. I mean, just there is. Some of it's inexperience, but I think Mo Lindquist, the corner coach, I kind of give him a lot of credit for what happened in the secondary last year. The job he did replacing what amounted to 3 first-round type talent corners. Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Trey Amos transferred to Ole Miss, and he's projected as first-rounder this year. But what he did developing those guys last year, Damani, Zabian, and now the young players that they're bringing in was pretty amazing.
Bray Hubbard too. I mean, he just kind
Bray
of
Hubbard did a fantastic job. You look at safety. Obviously Keon Sabb is out this spring. There's another guy that's out, but Bray Hubbard is Bray Hubbard. I mean, you saw what happened the last half of the season when he had to step in. Then you've got Zay Mincy, who started the Michigan game as a true freshman, had 7 tackles in the game. He's had a really, really good spring too. So Ivan Taylor, you mentioned him. Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., he's a guy to watch. I think he's playing the Husky position, used to be called the star. I think he's working there some as well as safety. But Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. is a guy that's made a lot of plays. I mean, he's made a ton of plays. So he's another name. And there's several others. Deshaun Jones at corner and at Husky, Brett Morgan. So you kind of get the drift. There's a lot of names.
There really is. And then my final question is, what are you hearing special teams wise? Because that was kind of the under the radar thing. You lose Neil Hibbett to snapper. He did a good job. You lose one of the better punters of the Nick Saban era, may end up being able to punt in the NFL for a while. And then, of course, place kicker, you lose Graham Nicholson as well. But what are you hearing as far as the specialists go?
You don't hear a lot about that, especially in the spring. The specialists, they work off to themselves. But as far as I have heard Connor Talty, they feel really good about him. I think he had in the first scrimmage, he hit all of his kicks. DeBoer said, I heard he hit a 48-yarder with a lot of room to spare, and he was consistent. So that's a key at place kicker. Now, as far as punter, I think that's an interesting spot because, they had signed a touted punter out of Fresno, California, Alex Esperoff, and he injured his knee. I mean, he injured his knee last year during his season, and so he's going to probably be shelved for this year, it sounds like.
Wow.
And they got Blake Dowd from Colorado School of Mines, but I don't be surprised now if they go to the portal for a punter. I won't be surprised at all.
Well, James Burnup, tough to replace sometimes. Well, Rodney, great stuff as always. For TiderInsider.com, let everybody know of all your coverage as you'll have a lot of buzz coming out later today about this scrimmage.
Right. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card. If you prefer, there is an address there to send a check. gives you all our premium information, but also our all sports forum. A lot of discussion there, guys, on our all sports forum. It's nonstop.
It really is.
Well,
we
good
appreciate
stuff.
it, Rodney. Thank you.
Yep.
And we look forward to having you on again as spring practice winds down. But thanks for the info and the time today.
Okay, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right, let's get a break in. 256-576-4977. Feel free to join us. Coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
I'm here with Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
TalentHVAC.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Still working on a couple of wrecks now, one in Decatur Point Mallard and Indian Hills, one in Huntsville Parkway and Lily Flag. Both of those reported as no injury. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
While we were interviewing Rodney Orr, we had a listener text in, and he had a great one-liner for our show today, considering we spent a segment talking about TJ Finley and how many schools he played for, and then Jaden Rashada.
And AJ Starr going from school to
we were
school.
red flag it, never the first red flag it.
Yeah.
But, and again, everybody, I wasn't really red flagging Scott. I was just more joking there. But a funny quip we had was, following this indefinite suspension by our good friend John Summerall, the wonder was, is TJ Finley, is he represented by the law firm Jonai, Johnny, and Jahoney, attorneys at law? That was pretty good.
Oh, my goodness. I tell you what, though.
No.
Auburn all of a sudden has depth on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can bring in
hell, fire. If they had 3 of them, they wouldn't have lost a game.
Well, they've had all 3, apparently.
I don't know.
According to some, they've had all 3.
Oh, man. And hey, just for the listeners too, check us out. John and I will be at the expo tomorrow.
Your ass knows anything about football.
I don't know. I'm going to talk to some people that do. Probably.
Red flag there.
Yeah, that's my red flag. Red flag. Red flag. Red flag.
Right there.
I'm not a fisherman or a boater.
Can you bait the hook?
I did when I was a kid, but I haven't done it in 35 years. But I'll be there talking Final Four with John, and we will be there. Give us the exact title, John. I don't want to discount these folk.
It's folk.
Oh, let me see. It's the Red Crest.
Yeah,
we have the ad that goes throughout. Yeah, it goes throughout. But we'll be talking to some guys that know fishing, and at the end of it, we both might be fishermen, Drew. So I'm looking forward to it.
I highly doubt that.
Talk to them about the Final Four. Talk to them about what they're looking for. I'll let them do the talking. You know, what is it that you're looking for at this Game and Fish Expo?
I want you to read up. I want you to beef up on some fishing terms.
Well, my late grandfather Gilbert, he was he actually did do a lot with Alabama Game and Fish magazine, and he was a turkey hunter extraordinaire and things of that nature. And I did go squirrel hunting with him when I was a kid, but that's about the gist of me. I not much of a hunter, did fish a little, but we'll be over there tomorrow talking Final Four. We look forward to seeing the folks. We'll be over there from 12 to 2 as we take everybody into the coverage of the Final Four that will be live here on 97.7 The Zone.
So some of those great memories, remember some of these vintage moments. It's always fun to kind of stroll down some of those Cinderella Final Four runs. Because I don't know. I mean, if outside of maybe Auburn winning, I don't know if anything is a Cinderella this year in the Final Four. Obviously, the number one all time is NC State 1983. The 6th seed, Jim Valvano, survive and advance motto in 1983. That's obviously number one. Villanova, 1985, 8th seed, national champion. Raleigh Massimino, that's got to be number 2. How about LSU getting to the Final Four in 1986 as an 11 seed?
People forget about that because that was Dale Brown's and probably his greatest coaching job for LSU.
I remember this one very well. 1988, Kansas Jayhawks, national champion, number 6 seed, Danny Manning. Remember that one? Larry Brown.
Manning and the Miracles. Over Billy Tubbs, Stacey King, Mookie Blaylock in Oklahoma in 88.
George Mason, 2006. They get to the Final Four. Jim Larinaga takes them to the Final Four. VCU in 2011, they got there. Remember, Butler, the 8th seed, gets runner-up. Yep, Gordon Hayward.
They were runner-up under Brad Stevens.
Loyola Chicago, can't forget them. That was a good one. Wichita State in 2013. Florida Atlantic in 2023.
I'll be honest, those two Butler teams and that FAU team under Dusty May, they were probably the best teams that made those runs because they were very close to winning national championships. And, of course, Butler played for 2.
And remember, what's his name? There's a kid from Florida, I believe, that started for FAU in the Final Four, and now he will start for Florida in the Final Four.
He certainly will. A hell of a team there at FAU.
And the other one, the other semifinal that we're going to get is going to be Houston and Duke. We've talked to Bobby Champagne this week. We got his take on the Houston Cougars. And what we got to do is we got to figure out these Duke Blue Devils.
They're pretty dadgum good. And one of our favorite guys, Adam Rowe of the Devil's Den, is going to do us live from San Antonio when we come back.
Let's get it in, folks.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 80s. Only falling off into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy sky Saturday afternoon. Temperatures once again climbing into the mid 80s. Showers and thunderstorms are going to move into the Tennessee Valley Saturday night, early into Sunday morning. As of right now, it looks like we're talking about a lot of rain and some significant wind. The high temperature Sunday afternoon only hanging out in the upper 60s and lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Still working on a couple of wrecks now. One in Decatur, Point Mallard, and Indian Hills. One in Huntsville Parkway and Lily Flag. Both of those reported as no injury. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
The Bass Pro Shops Red Crest Championship Outdoor Expo will be at the Von Braun Center April 4th, 5th, and 6th in conjunction with the MLF Red Crest Championship on Lake Gunnersville. The Outdoor Expo will be open from 11 to 6:30 daily, and the first 200 kids 14 and under on Saturday will receive a free Abu Garcia rod and reel, courtesy of WHNT News 19. There will be hourly giveaways, tackle and boat deals, seminars, and a chance to meet the pros. And it's free of charge. The Bass Pro Shops Red Crest Championship Outdoor Expo, April 4th through 6th at the BBC.
Countdown to the 2025 Trash Panda season is on. Tickets are available for the full 2025 home schedule, including opening night on Friday, April 4th. But it doesn't end there. The Trash Panda season opens with 9 home games in 10 days, featuring theme nights, giveaways, fireworks, and more. This opening homestand has it all. For more information, check us out online at trashpandasbaseball.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Rudy Arman. And, you know, it's so interesting because at the beginning of the year, beginning of the college basketball season, and you look at the Duke Blue Devils, it was
Mike Krzyzewski's not there anymore. John Shire trying to lead the way. What is he going to do? Yada, yada. I mean, it was all these things. And John Shire now has gotten Duke to the Final Four.
Yes.
And it is clear that, I mean, he is his own guy. He is I mean, we are not talking about, it's how interesting how the conversation has kind of changed. That we're not sitting there laminating or reminiscing about Mike Krzyzewski getting teams there and all this other stuff. I mean, this is clearly John Shire has clearly, cemented himself and put his name there now that he is in charge. This is his Duke team, and he is capable of getting teams to the Final Four.
No, he's done a remarkable job. 35-3 now in his third season. His first year, they lost to Rick Barnes in Tennessee in the round of 32. Last year to NC State in that Cinderella run by Kevin Keats in the Elite Eight. And of course, the Houston Sweet 16 win, a lot had to do with Jamal Sheed getting hurt, but still, he's done a remarkable job building this roster. And again, when you're having to fill the shoes of arguably one of the two greatest coaches ever, and I'm talking about with Mike Krzyzewski and then maybe John Wooden, when you talk about national championships won, he's certainly up there. And maybe the greatest coach of his era, it's very difficult. But John Shire has certainly put his stamp on the program. They have done an amazing job, and now they are the betting favorite to win the national championship here. Got to get the job done, got to win 2 more games. But certainly they have that semifinal coming up with the University of Houston, and we're going to talk about it with a guy that's been on with us periodically as Duke has made these runs. He does a really nice job for 24/7 Sports and the Devil's Den covering Duke athletics, and that is Adam Rowe. He's been kind enough to join us live from San Antonio and talk some Duke Blue Devils basketball this morning. Adam, you're with Drew and Scott. How are you this morning, sir?
Hi, how are you?
We're doing well, man. Thank you for joining us. I think there was a lot of anticipation for this Duke team, especially when you follow basketball recruiting and you see the meteoric rise in the last year or so in the reclassification of Cooper Flagg. But I'll say this. I saw him at Montverde personally, and my squad, Huntsville High, took them on. Lost by 27. They're extremely talented. But with all the pressure and the accolades that were heaped on him, he's actually, I think, more than lived up to it. It's been a pretty amazing season to watch unfold.
Yeah, man, it's not usual that a guy comes in with that much hype and lives up to it. I'm sorry that you had to play against Montverde.
We were proud. I mean, we lost by 27. They congratulated us. I mean, the team they played before us 2 days before, they won by 90. So I thought we did a decent job.
Yeah, I think the entire roster from last year is going to go in the lottery this year. It's pretty wild, the amount of talent that they've had in that school.
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, Flagg, obviously, he came from small town Maine. His talent led him to Montverde to play ridiculous talent. Robert Wright, Derek Queen, Liam McNeely, all guys that college basketball fans know now, Asa Newell. He's just, I don't really know how to compare him to another player. I mean, there's been a lot of people trying to compare him to, I've heard Kevin Durant, and I really don't think that's right. Durant is such a scarce scorer. I've seen people trying to compare him to Tatum.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that either.
Kind of facilitator that Flagg is. I mean, he really is like a 6'9" guard that plays with a point guard's mentality and can hit shots from all over. I think earlier in the year, one of the knocks on him was that he didn't really have a consistent outside shot, and it showed in the beginning of his freshman year. Apparently, when he went home for winter break, he just spent like hours upon hours with his dad in the gym and came back. And I'm pretty sure in conference play, he's hit at least 45% of his 3-pointers. So he's just an all-around player. I know Shire has said he's a one-time guy, Flagg, where if you show him something one time, he gets it. Mm-hmm. Especially young guys, it usually takes a few times to drill something into their head. But yeah, he's a special talent, and I mean, he's gonna be a perennial all-star if nothing happens to him health-wise.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the only freshman doing it for Duke, but if Duke is able to cut down the nets, and Duke has had a lot of superstar freshmen come in, where would Cooper Flagg fall in line with that?
I mean, the people on the message board, who sometimes are not the most rational people in the world, are very much the most diehard Duke fans that I interact with on a regular basis. Say, if he cuts down the nets, I mean, a lot of them are even saying that he's better than Zion at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that, by the way. I think he's more well-rounded. I mean, the thing of it with Cooper Flagg is I thought Alabama actually did a decent job defending him, but he can pass the ball, he defends. And the thing that I love about him is he had 3 or 4 blocks in the game, and a lot of them were coming from behind. He's not lazy. He plays both ends of the floor, and he plays as hard as he can. And he competes. That's what I've noticed about Cooper.
Yeah, I think Alabama did a great job on him, honestly, and I think the fact that Duke was still able to beat them by 20 points in the Elite Eight, with him having, I mean, he still scored 16 points. Don't get me wrong, but
right.
I mean, if people have been paying attention, that was probably a C game for Flagg. I mean, if Duke could still beat an Alabama team that was considered one of the best in the country by 20 in the Elite Eight, that's wild to think about.
Yeah.
So come tomorrow. It's Houston.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we undersell Houston a little bit because it's Houston. I don't think we think of them as a perennial favorite or a perennial Final Four team or that good, but they're good. And they've got every bit of talent to beat Duke. When you look at this matchup, Duke and Houston, what kind of stands out the most to you?
Yeah, I mean, you say Houston's not a perennial Final Four contender, but
they are under Sampson.
They are.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, they were in the Final Four in 2021, Elite Eight 2022. Like, this is a serious program now. I think as far as the matchup goes, one of the things I'm most excited to watch is obviously Houston's #1 defense against Duke's #1 offense. I don't know if you guys are too familiar with Houston's roster, but this Joseph Tugler kid, he's a sophomore, 6'8", apparently has a longer reach than Kaman Malawach.
That's something.
7'2". And I think, if all things play out, I wouldn't be surprised to see him put on Cooper Flagg early. They don't have a ton of size,
right?
Which is something that Duke has been able to exploit in some of these other matchups against really good teams. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Duke go down low early and often. But like everybody makes such a big deal about Houston's defense and Duke's offense, and I do too. Rightfully so, they're best in the country. But we got to remember, Duke's defense is 5th in the country, and Houston's offense is 10th in the country. Like, these are two of the most well-rounded teams in the sport right now. And I don't think a lot of people realize that the Cougars are the second best three-point shooting team in the country either.
Yeah, we talked about that. This is their best shooting team under Sampson, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I think I talked to you guys before, Sweet 16 or Elite 8 matchup.
Yeah, right.
Just really excited to see the basketball. Like, there are no Cinderellas this year, but I think that's going to lead to some awesome basketball on Saturday night and then hopefully Monday night as well.
And I'd watched him play, but I was just amazed. And I know he's really only, I think, in his 4th year of organized basketball. But first of all, his size, his length, come on, Malawach, he just totally shut down the middle. Alabama wasn't able to, they love to attack the rim. Guard-wise, they had trouble shooting over him, finishing. You also have Flagg playing next to him. But, man, I mean, Malawach, and then the way he finished around the rim as well. Cliff Amore had been playing really good basketball going into that game, but Malawach just sort of took him out of it.
Yeah, he's really coming to his own. And, if you're pointing at one weakness for Houston's offense, it's their 2-point percentage. They shoot under 50% in 2-point. So I think that's due to a little bit to their lack of size. So while they are really good at shooting the 3-ball, their strength is not shooting it inside the lane, and that's going to be made even harder by a guy like Malawach. And then it sounds like Malik Brown is now going to be fully healthy and ready to go for these games, unlike he was just used as like a spot player in the Elite 8 and Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm. And then talk about Sion James. I mean, I wouldn't say that Duke has a true point guard, but he's as close as they have. And then I honestly think they're in some ways Flag is their best facilitator as well, the way he can create off the bounce. But Sion's come in from Tulane. He was a 3 or 4 year starter there. That's the thing. Until you see them and you watch them closely, just the sheer I know you've covered Duke for a long time, but they average 6'8" in their starting lineup. They are huge.
They're huge. They're the biggest team in the country, which is not something you've seen, so frequently from Duke over the years. But yeah, they're number one average height, 79.8 inches. Yeah, when I'm watching those guys on-court warm-ups, it makes me feel really short. And I'm 5'9", but that's one thing that the Houston point guards, they're like the Alabama guards. They're really short.
Yeah, they're smaller guards.
Small guards, so that could be another place. Like Duke's got positional size all the way up and down the roster. So that could be another thing. And you mentioned Sion James. He's 6'6". He's built like a linebacker.
Exactly, like an outside backer.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody at the Elite 8 game, and they were talking about how Flag uses his off arm really, really smart. Like he doesn't necessarily push off and extend his arm. He pushes down. And that's something you see with a lot of really talented basketball players as they're battling in the lane. They'll push down. They'll still get an advantage, but it doesn't look like they're pushing off. And James does the same thing, but he's so damn strong. Guys just bounce off of him. And so he's been been called for a lot of fouls this tournament. Just guys I don't think were ready for his physicality. And so it looks like he's fouling people even if he's necessarily not.
You mentioned the size, and we just talked about the size. That's something John Shire, though, went out and he intentionally wanted to get bigger, and there's a reason why Duke got bigger.
Totally. He went out and got those guys. I mean, Malavach, obviously, it helps that your best player is 6'9" and plays like a guard. But yeah, Proctor was already big, and then they brought in Sion James. There's just nobody on the roster that's shorter than 6'5".
Jeez.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you too about Con Knipple because he just really impressed me because when Flag got hurt, I mean everybody, it was like just a huge. We've been joking about red flags in our studio today, but he had been healthy for the most part throughout the season. Then he goes down. You don't know at first how serious the injury is. Then it looks like, okay, he's going to be out for the ACC tournament. And yet I know the ACC was down this year, but they didn't miss a beat. Con Knipple really stepped up. And I thought with Alabama doing a nice job on Flag, Con Knipple was kind of the difference with Malawach in beating Alabama as badly as they did.
Totally. Yeah, I think he's been underrated all year. I think a lot of that has to do with who he plays with. And I don't think he really cares. He's an old school guy. All he cares about is winning. Without getting too much into his history, I know this is a radio show, so we don't want to go forever. But
yeah,
Con played his ball growing up wasn't necessarily AAU. It was playing in his dad's church league.
Right.
So he's got that old man game locked down. He'll get in the lane, get on 2 feet, pump fake the hell out of you, and then go up and draw a foul. And he's got that kind of that unusual basketball IQ that lets him see a couple frames ahead, like Cooper Flag does.
Right.
So yeah, watching these guys from the court side in that tournament, you can see them. You can see the way that they understand basketball on a different level than a lot of other guys. So it's really fun to watch them. And honestly, one of my favorite plays in all of basketball is when somebody follows their shot and gets their own rebound.
Right.
And Knipple does that all the time. So I will always be a fan of his.
That's something that's not taught. It's something that you have to just do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have to miss a lot of shots too.
Well, he just reminds me of some of Coach K's classic guys, the Kyle Singlers, the Mike Dunleavys, that were so smart and, they might not be the most athletic guys, but they have a basketball IQ. And, Dunleavy, of course, his father, Mike, was a hell of a player. and coach in the NBA, and then it's kind of from the same tree. And then Singler played a long time in the league. It's just the Danny Ferries. That's who he reminds me of. I know Ferry was 6'10", but it's just one of those things. He just reminds me of those smart, high IQ guys that know how to play. That's what amazed me when I was watching him against Alabama. He knew all the little tricks, man, and he totally beat Alabama to spots. He did a great job getting his shot off. Finishing, they run him off curls really well, both the mid-range and for three. He's just really tough to guard. But before we let you go, Adam, we appreciate the time. Give us your thoughts. What's the keys to beating Houston? And then for Duke, I mean, they've already seen Auburn. They beat Auburn in a high-level game in Cameron. They haven't seen Florida. Just kind of talk about the keys to beating Houston and what's the better matchup for Duke in the finals if they are able to reach it.
Yeah, the Houston game's gonna. I think Houston's gonna just try to muck it up. They play one of the slowest tempos in all of college basketball, and I think if Duke's able to get out and run on them a little bit and make them uncomfortable early, it could get a little bit out of hand. But if they can't make their shots, obviously, that's going to make that a lot harder, and they're going to have to function in a half court against a really difficult defense. A lot of the predictions I've seen have had this game somewhere in the 60s. That would be the lowest Duke scored in a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Houston holding Duke in the 60s. So I think my prediction would be something like 77, 68 in favor of Duke. And then the national championship game, I think Duke and Auburn have been kind of predestined to play against each other in the national championship game. Florida, I know they're in the Final Four, but they've had some tough games along the way.
Right.
And I think Auburn, while they didn't blow out Michigan State, I don't know. There's just something about them that I think they're going to show up. When those guys played in Cameron, it was obvious how confident they were, and that they just do not expect to lose.
Right.
And I think that's something that you got to have in college basketball. And their average age is 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're older than like 5 NBA teams roster.
Yeah, they are.
So, yeah.
Good
I'm sorry to say that on the Alabama radio show, but I think
you're good.
No, you're good.
No,
man.
we've
You're
talked
great.
about it. They're
You're
just a
great.
veteran. They're long
just
in
a
the
veteran.
tooth.
They have 10 old guys.
Yeah.
And then let everybody know how to connect with you. I know you've kind of stepped away from X. I know it's a crazy world, but I know there's a couple other social media platforms to connect with you, and let everybody know how to follow your coverage from San Antonio.
Yeah, hit me up on Blue Sky. I'm over there. And then obviously, thedevilsden.com is where I post all my stuff, too. So
absolutely. And he's also on Threads. Appreciate you, man.
It's almost football season, y'all.
Yes, it is. We're getting closer.
We've been counting down. Thanks, Adam. We appreciate
Adam.
you, man.
Thank you.
It's 12 guys for Auburn if you count Johnny and Johnny.
Yeah, the law firm.
Yeah.
Of Jonai, Johnny, and Johnny.
If you count all three of them, you can add up more players.
Alexander Shinara getting a run.
Let's get our break in.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It's got a wreck coming in. This one's going to be Hobbs Island Road and Russell Drive. They are reporting it as an injury type. Still working one indicator, Point Mallard and Indian Hills. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Who we got on the phones? Terry, let's get Terry in real fast. Morning, Terry. Yeah.
Hey, great conversation with Adam, but I wanted to share something with y'all that we need to think about very quickly with Cooper Flagg.
Yes, sir.
He's got the quick twitch and the abilities that remind me a lot of Pistol Pete Maravich at the guard position. When you think about it, he's a great ball handler. He moves very well, but he's very, very insightful on who's around him and what they're doing. So when you put him and Knuppel together, that's quite an offensive threat there, because you got a big guy like Flagg that can play inside, but he's got the ball handling skills of a guard. And you watch him when he's playing off somebody, he's got that same left hand, right hand movement that Pistol Pete had that made him so deadly about being covered because of that quickness and basketball IQ.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Well, thanks
That's
for
a
the
great
phone
point.
call
Thank
as
you for
well,
calling
right
in.
after the buzzer.
Yep. Well, talk to you later, guys. Great conversation on a fantastic Final Four.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Final Four going to tip off tomorrow, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We'll have not one but two games. We also got a little bit of baseball, softball coming your way later today. So get on out there. 85 degrees is the high. Put a little sunblock on and enjoy your Friday. We'll be back at it Monday morning.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll